Oh no.
What?
Yes.
What the
Narancha.
flip? What the flip am I watching here?
You are watching David Productions' finest piece of work. And also, remember that first time we tried doing World of Final Fantasy? Well, we're redoing that.
Unfortunately, as things have changed throughout personal people's lives, so we decided let's redo this.
Times have changed, our cast of people have changed, schedules for everyone have changed, really. But now we
And of
have
course, the game has been updated as well.
yeah, it had a
Yeah.
it had a huge like update
Previously, yes.
from the original version, which I believe is the base version you get on the Switch, and for everyone else, you have to buy both World of Final Fantasy and the Maxima upgrade. But the Maxima upgrade's like $15.
Yeah, for anyone who has the original World of Final Fantasy, you can upgrade it to Maxima for cheaper. Square was really nice to do that. I think they did the same thing with Final Fantasy 15 when the Royal Edition came out.
Well, that just gives you everything. That's just. But yeah, this is
Right.
World of Final Fantasy Maxima. Again, as we said, an update to the original game. Basically, it's the same game. It's just that you now start off with a set of champion medals and some specific prism monsters.
If I remember correctly, the original one did have like timed DLC
Yep.
medals that you could get at launch.
Not even at launch, just throughout. It's like the year it was out. Like there was the Sora medal, Balthier. There were a handful of Final Fantasy characters that I don't think we can ever actually get anymore, except on PC.
Right. Now, we will state, though, that World of Final Fantasy did come out. It was, I'd say, a month or two before Final Fantasy 15. This was kind of one of those games that you had to wait a little for. And also, this came out originally just for the PS4, and then it got onto PC, and now it's on the Switch. for
And
you
Xbox
guys.
One.
Was that the same time as the PS4 release, or was that
The
delayed?
Maxima version came out on Xbox One.
Oh, okay, so not the original.
Yes. This is exclusively a PS. This was exclusively a PS4 game for approximately 2 years. And then it came out with a PC
Which is not
version.
bad.
Well, no, it came out on PC a year later, and then we got the Maxima version this year on Switch. And basically, the Maxima version not only gives you access to a whole bunch of new stuff, there's also a new super dungeon, some new super bosses, a new ending, nightmare mode, new game plus, a little bit of everything.
Oh, the new game plus I like. Okay.
You can actually praise the champions now.
You can play the champions, but they take over the spot of your current character. I believe a new character is playable, but only after New Game Plus.
Okay, that makes sense.
But only after you clear the game the first time is that specific character that we can't name right now available. There's
I
just
don't
a
worry,
lot.
I'll be highlighting a lot of that stuff as we go along.
Yeah, I won't spoil what the super dungeon is because it actually is a nice little homage dungeon. Oh gosh, that was a weird frame drop right there.
That was. I
Yeah.
think you're on the vanilla PS4, right?
I am indeed,
Okay, so that
And
kind of makes
this-
sense.
and the first 3 episodes were used using the PS4 share thing, which is why there's a little copyright box at the bottom. But all episodes after this will be done through the Elgato, so that won't be a problem anymore.
Awesome.
Woo!
Eventually,
I wish I had one at that point. Okay, no, I love this. I love this intro. This game is known to be the just basically like just basically what Automatic Mania is.
this game is long. This whole introduction is a long introduction. Like it
I
takes
wouldn't-
it takes a
that's-
good 3 hours to really get into this groove of this game.
Did they do the Kingdom Hearts 2 route? Oh, flip! I forgot about that.
Oh, don't
Ugh.
worry. Kingdom Hearts 2, we get to enjoy the full 3.5 hours of that intro. But this is long. This is a very sluggish opening until they introduce you to everything in this game. Like it's, I think, about 5 hours until you really start getting into the groove of this game.
Well, I would kind of understand considering the whole premise of the story.
Oh, also this was available on Vita too, not just PS4.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was available on both
I don't-
Vita
I
and
don't-
PS4
I don't think the Vita version did well because Vita never did well in the first place.
in America. It did amazingly in Japan.
That
My
makes
Pure
sense.
Vita's basically a glorified MP3 player at this point.
And a Persona machine until we finally get a PS4 port of Golden.
I would love that so I could play Golden Period. I never got the dancing game for Persona 5 or Persona 3, only because I don't have the money for it at this time.
Well, it's like $100 for the complete collection.
100. Yeah,
pint?
I don't.
A
have
pint
that.
of coffee.
Who has a pint of coffee? Give me like a mug, okay? Give me like 2 mugs of coffee. I'll be happy.
Well, well, if you've ever seen what a pub mug pint glass looks like, it's a nice full big cup of that. Because I actually just so happen to own pint glasses. So yeah, they don't really remember what's going on, and the fact that he doesn't know that there's a cute little fox thing on his head. But he knows how to make coffee. He knows how to make a bitchin' coffee. Also, the fact that he works at Starbucks.
I think he's not the only worker though.
No, he's not.
I think no, and I don't think he's
2,
noticed like nobody
3,
is there
4,
anymore. Like
5, 6, 7,
what?
8,
The-
9,
Diabetes.
10,
Diabetes.
heart attack,
Oh,
13, 14.
Okay, this reminds me of when I was in Washington D.C. with a school group. Someone bought iced coffee from McDonald's. It wasn't sweet enough, so they put a mountain of sugar. I'm not joking. They put a mountain of sugar packets into that thing just to make it sweet.
Oh, another thing too, the Maxima version adds a boss/person that was also in a spin-off mobile game for World of Final Fantasy. They had him in the Maxima upgrade too. That was
So, what was the point of having a mobile version for World of Final Fantasy?
it was just a simple free-to-play mobile game. It's nothing. It's the equivalent of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, really.
Okay, yeah. Except Union Cross, I'm kind of already caught up story-wise.
What now?
I'm caught up story-wise with Union Cross.
Well, what's up, Hal?
What? Oh.
Oh, I was just going to say, for some reason, mobile phone games are very popular in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the fact of that.
Oh, strange diabetes ready.
Yeah. Just whispers. She put like 14 lumps of sugar in her coffee. By the way, that's not going to mix well. There's only so much liquid that can be. There's only so much liquid that can hold that much sugar.
I'm thinking she only did... Well, she's going to be very important, but that's it.
She is.
That's all I gotta say.
She is important.
She's important in a sense, but she's not really in the story a whole lot. No, the voice acting I would say is pretty good, except for some lines with Lon, which makes no sense.
Honestly, this whole dub is subpar between Lon and Rain, but everyone else is perfect. Well, and Tama, but everyone else is perfectly fine.
Right. They're not as...
But then again, that's because most of those characters are voiced by their respective voice actresses and actors from other series.
Right, but when you're mostly hearing Lon and Rain the whole time, including Tama, that's kind of a downer on that one.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like it's a perfectly fine dub, but it definitely, I just prefer the voices of every other character that we'll meet later on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not understanding this. Now, this is where they kind of get the point of, oh yeah, nobody really existed. It's like, what?
Getting Kingdom Hearts 2 syndrome up in here.
I mean, again, this game was directed, I think, by Tetsuya Nomura.
Nope.
Oh, who was it?
Hiroki Chiba.
Ah, right.
If you squint very carefully, you can see at the bottom on the copyright notice.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yoshitaka, also the logo was made by Yoshitaka Amano as per usual. No, Tetsuya Nomura was the character designer, not the director.
He's always the character designer, though, since the very beginning, I would say. I'm not sure.
No. Since I believe it was Final Fantasy VI.
I think Final Fantasy VII was his first one.
It was
Really?
No, but I believe didn't he do the designs for Zervan for the Warring Triad in 6? I think he was a creature designer back then.
He's both character
Yeah, I
and
think
creature.
it might have been.
Let me Google this real quick. Nomura first game.
Now, see, this is where the dialogue gets weird. How the honk stuff like that.
He's actually been with Square since Final Fantasy IV. He was a debugger back in 4.
Oh wow, that's actually interesting.
He started doing monster design in 5, and then 6 he did the character design, story, and was the graphic director.
And everybody loves 6.
Mm-hmm. He was a graphic designer in Chrono Trigger. He was in a special thanks for Super Mario RPG, and 7 was when his character designs were more noticeable.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Yeah.
So we can thank him for Cloud.
Yeah. You can thank him for Cloud, and you can thank Yoshitaka Amano for providing the base design, the base concept art for characters.
That makes sense.
Cloud, but trust me, Cloud. The thing about Yoshitaka Amano is that all of his this is little Tama, a little fox friend, and yes, she is a fox. I don't know if they ever say their gender.
Not really. This is the whole thing about the game is the Mirage Keepers. Now, this is where you get the name Pokemon in Final Fantasy at this mixed with Final Fantasy with this.
Honestly, I'd compare this more to Digimon than Pokemon.
Are you sure?
I would compare the entirety of the Mirage system to Digimon over Pokemon, because I don't remember being able to devolve your own Pokemon.
Okay, that's understandable.
Yeah, this is more of a big overglorified Digimon system than Pokemon.
Okay, that makes sense then, because I've only watched like the first season of the anime of Digimon, never played the games.
Yeah, this is very much a more Digimon-like game, but the whole concept of trying to capture Mirages is a Pokemon-like system, but it still has a feeling of Digimon. It'll get explained later.
Right. It's like kind of like a... I feel bad for completionists because of how many Mirages are out there in this game, and you're going to find a lot more within the time period. Now, this is where they get into the combat.
That is, I believe, an alternate Tama.
I'm thinking maybe I should explain how I'm going to handle the battles.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Basically, every time we see something brand new, it pop up in the video. And if something happens like I imprison something, that'll pop up in the video. But if it's anything that's been doubles that we've already seen, I'll be cutting those.
What about menuing?
Like any... Go ahead.
For example, if we run a Choco Chick, first time I'll show it on screen. If I don't catch it, then the next time I run into a Choco Chick and I catch it, I'll show that on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I've already caught the Choco Chick, you'll never see a Choco Chick fight again.
Gotcha. What about menuing in this game? Because this game has a lot of menuing.
That was always a pain.
Are you showing off all the menuing, or are you just going to show off like bits and pieces there?
Bits and bobs. I don't want to bore the audience with way too much.
Because I gotta see some Digivolutions here.
No.
Oh no, but I'll be showing all of that.
No, I have a question though, because I found this out with my original playthrough of the original, like, you can speed up that timer
Not yet.
a bit. Not yet, but yeah. I love that mechanic.
If you look carefully at the screen, sometimes you can see me trying to speed it up, but no, you can't speed it up.
Yeah, this is a tutorial fight. You can't speed up the battle.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, holy crap, without the speed up mechanic, these battles slog on hard.
Oh, they slog horribly.
Oh yeah, they definitely.
The one other thing I mean, I like that they got creative with that whole bar thing, but it's still monotony.
Well, creative is a very loose term. This has been a system since Grandia. Even before Grandia, I think. Well, no, the concept of active time battle has been since Final Fantasy IV. It's just that the whole concept of interrupting enemies or stopping them before they reach the end, I think, was a Grandia thing first.
Yeah. But this is one of those... Yeah, and this is how you level up, basically. They do level up whoever is in your party and whatever is on you.
They consider...
Which is nice, but anything else, I think that's it.
For a second there, I misread that, and I thought Tama was considered a large monster. It's like, I don't remember her being a large mirage.
No, I don't like... The one thing with Tama that annoys me is the part. She always says the a lot.
Oh, her speech impediment?
Yeah. That annoys me to no end sometimes.
The rainbow eyes are nice.
Yeah.
Again, that's the reason why I prefer the subs over the dub, because she doesn't speak like that in the sub, because there's no way you could fit the word the in kanji multiple times like that.
I don't know why they even have that in the dub.
It's the symptom of like what happens with Teddy in Persona 4, where Teddy in the sub would say Kuma at the end of... His name is Kuma in Japanese. He would say, I believe, Kuma at the end of his sentences, and that translates to bear puns in Persona 4.
Oh, right.
Way too many fucking bear puns.
It's great. Hey, you be quiet about those bear puns. That's what makes Teddy Teddy.
Now, this is where they get into... They lost Mirages, apparently. It gets way more explained, like, way at the end game. But
well, they also have amnesia.
Yeah. Apparently... Now, this does get explained later on in the game. It's just... It takes forever to get to the interesting part. That's the one thing I have an issue with this game. The gameplay is fun, the mirages are cute. The issue I've always had was how the pacing went. It was so bad.
This game was just really long.
It was just not well done.
Another thing I love about this game is the fan service. Now, it's going to be... It's going to be cut out a lot, but when I was recording it today, I spent like 20 minutes just wandering about in a Magitech.
Yeah, that's right.
The Final Fantasy VI music.
Oh, yeah. So you did the Final Fantasy 14 kind of thing. Okay.
Also, we get an anime OP.
Now, I do like the fact that the backtracking thing is a lot done simple with this game.
Well, there's almost no backtracking unless you're doing side quests. You're basically moving in a straight path throughout the entire game.
Right, but then you also have to grind. Is another issue.
I've never had an issue with grinding, but that's just because that's how I play games. Is I kill literally everything in my way.
That was me too. My issue though was the last few bosses. Now this is a mechanic in the game that is adorable, and I love it.
Yeah, they're now chibi. That's a big thing about World of Final Fantasy. Everything is chibi, including the Final Fantasy characters we'll get to see later. Everyone and everything is chibi.
The chibiness is referred to as lillikins in the lore of the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
They are adorable.
The fact that they're now the size of Tama is fucking adorable.
And the designs are just super cute. Makes you want to get a Funko Pop of them.
You can buy plushes of them.
Yeah, now this is a part of the mechanic is with Lawn and Rain, which I like, is that you can switch on and off with them if you want to be the chibi ones or if you want to be the big ones. This also helps with battles, especially with whoever you put in your party. And I
Basically,
find that awesome.
you can turn them from large mirages into, I believe, medium mirages. Yeah, they're medium.
Yeah.
Which I think I show off in a couple of minutes.
At any time, you can switch between their large forms and their chibi forms, which that also changes their mirage setup, which doesn't really matter early game. But once you move on, you're gonna have to really abuse the mirage system, and you're gonna have very specific party setups.
And now, since we're in the middle of this, now I'm going to explain the gimmick of this LP thread for the LP zone.
All right.
I am going to let you wonderful guys, the commenters, decide the name of our mirage.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, except for the first three because they've already been recorded. But every other one after.
Ooh.
Oh, that
you
makes
can feel
sense.
free
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure our
almost forgot about
buddies.
that.
Hopefully, Nido King gets to chimes in on a couple of these namings.
Yeah.
Every single mirage is up for grabs name-wise.
It's amazing.
So feel free to comment in the thread today.
Oh,
Now, what I do like that though because it makes them unique to you. Now, the one thing I have to say this because it does get explained in the game and it sucks. The mirages are a high emphasis. It's similar to Pokemon in a sense, but as Kazan had mentioned, Digimon. But I've never played the Digimon game, so I can't really.
Here's the thing, though. You never have. Here's the thing. Don't try to do a Lawn and Rain only run. It's not fun, and it just ends up and it ends up just being really. It's not fun.
No. Always mix up your party when you can.
And for the love of God, do not try and do a Nuzlocke in this game.
Do not do
Just do
what?
not.
A Nuzlocke. Basically, Prism Tunity. Yeah. It's the equivalent of weakening a Pokemon to a point where it's easier to catch, but in this case, this is required to imprism a shadow.
Yeah, but each one is different depending on what it is, and that's why Tama's Libra is like the literal awesomeness thing. You should keep Libra on you at all times.
Or at the very least, teach Libra to either Lawn or Rain later on.
Yeah.
Also,
or early on.
Libra is a godsend in this game.
Yeah, because every single Mirage has an imprism tunity, or a prism tunity, including like specific rare ones that are not fun to catch. And
I don't think some of the bosses you can imprison.
You cannot, but there are other very rare ones inside of the shadow shadow prisms that you can attempt to imprison, and it's not. Again, it's a really finicky system. Well, not finicky because there's.
Oh god. I might have gotten a couple. I don't remember.
There are two. There are two states of a prism tunity as well. There's the weak aura, which gives you a small chance of catching, gives you a decent chance of imprisoning, and then there's the true glow, which is the highest chance to imprison something. Also, another thing they don't tell you is that you have a Johnny. Oh wait, Johnny K.
What?
I was trying to fit in one of my alts chocobos from 14, but I couldn't fit in, so I just used the hairy chocobo name.
Oh goodness.
So now we've got our first...
Krungar. Oh no, Kruger.
Now we've got our first Mirage,
Kruger.
And now this is where they get into how the Mirages work.
Also, another thing they added to Maxima upgrade that just remembers off the top of my head, you can now hold 12 Mirages instead of 10.
Really?
Yeah, they added 2 extra Prisms Mirage slots.
Oh no, that's a lifesaver and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that for a reason.
That's another thing too about stacks. You can only have up to 2 other prisms per stack on either lawn or rain, up to 6 people at once. And the big thing about that is that the stats of whatever you're stacked with go into lawn or rain depending on who you're equipped with. And
yeah.
But just because also not only are stats stacked onto lawn and rain, but the strengths, weaknesses, resistances are also all stacked with lawn and rain. So if you decide to get like bomb as stacked on top of rain, you now have a resistance to fire and a weakness to ice.
Right. So whatever weaknesses or strength are added to your mirages in your stacks, they happen to lawn and rain. Now the biggest issue I have is with the whole switching mechanic. With it is also part of the battle. You have 2 sets, the one that's the LinkedIn and the one that's the giant. Basically the normal and the chibi.
Lilykin and giant.
So, yeah, so the whole issue I have with the stack issue, it's a fun mechanic, don't get me wrong. It's just the issue I have with it is sometimes you need a Pacific Mirage, and if you don't have it in your if you don't have it on you, you're basically screwed.
I've never had that issue.
I've kind of had that issue.
I know it's recommended to have specific stack setups, but I've never had to look up a guide for this game. Oh yeah, there's also 4 sets of stacks too. 2 of them for the Lilykin version of Lawn and Rain, and 1 for the giant version.
Yeah, so this is nice. Because that way you can switch it up if you want to. It's still a pain in the butt.
It's also the fact of if you can only have 1 Mirage on per stack, meaning if you like what we just saw with Kruger, since Kruger was attached to the medium stack for Rain, he couldn't be stacked on the large one.
He couldn't be stacked on. No, he can.
No, he couldn't be. You can't use him in 2 separate stacks. You have to have. It has to be separate stacks. Like if you can't if he puts them onto Rain's head, you can't equip it onto the large one. It has to be medium only. And so you have to remove it from the medium to put it onto the large. Also, other mechanic that's okay at best that locks away certain treasure chests. Gimme golems.
Gimme golem.
Gimme golems.
They are rare, I think. I don't think I had to do them a whole lot.
They are not rare. If you want certain treasure chests and I believe specific super bosses, or specific rare prisms, you have to there are specific gimme golems scattered throughout the entire world that require you to have specific items to give to them.
Yep. If you're just playing the game as it is, you won't find many of them. But if you're going for everything, prepare to see the buggers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go for 100% of this game. I already had an issue with the last couple of bosses, so I'm like, screw it, I'm done.
But yeah,
That's just me.
Yeah. This gimme golem is really simple. They just want you to upgrade Choco Chick to learn Stroll. And you'll know it's a gimme golem because they go, gimme, gimme.
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 And some of them want items. Some of them want a specific ability. Some of them want you to put a specific stack of creatures on top of each other. This whole thing right here. This was a headache and a half for me. When you're trying to level up your mirages, you have to do that whole the SP thing. You ever played Final Fantasy X? This is Final Fantasy X.
This is their...
Wait, what, Hal?
Yeah, it's pretty much the spear grid from Final Fantasy X.
Only with no spheres, with no specific spheres required for specific spaces.
Right. It's just you just do your mirages and there you go.
Okay, this one wanted a specific item. I believe there are specific, like what they just showed with Choco Chick. There are specific mirages that can be used to find things, and just about every single mirage in the game has an ability that lets you either ride them, or let them stroll with you, or just hang out with them. If they're equipped to you. So, like, you can get, like, Behemoth later on, and you can ride on a Behemoth, or in the case of what Hal said, the Magitech armor.
And that is just way too fun to ride.
It really is, though. And also,
Really way too much.
they're also just another form of transportation that make you go faster, but we don't even get access to any of them for quite some time.
Right, like now now the reason why we say this tutorial is kind of long is because again, RPGs do kind of have long tutorials depending on how long the game is.
I mean, the fact...
That's the reason why this video is so long, because I tried to squeeze as much of the tutorial stuff as into the one video as possible, so we could just move on to actual stuff in the next video.
It's like one of the problems I had with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where up until Chapter 4 you were still getting tutorials.
You do every now and then. Now now at the time of this recording, I have completed the story of Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm going through New Game Plus, trying to 100%, and I'm doing Torna at the moment, the Golden Country of Torna. So doing that, and I have fun with it, and I do have to agree, it does go up to Chapter 4.
Yeah, Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is when they stop.
But it doesn't feel like a tutorial, though. It just doesn't. To me.
When a text box pops up and tells you exactly how to play the game, that's a tutorial.
Right, but I mean, like, the feeling of it, like, you could still, like, okay, the first area I could feel the tutorial part. I didn't feel it at the end of it.
By the way,
this is
a nice little mechanic. Mercriffs. Basically, these are full of scary monsters. Scary, powerful, rare spawn. Basically, they can give you a lot of XP and SP, and I believe you can catch them.
Yeah, but they do not.
Eventually, you can catch them.
Emphasis on eventually.
No, this is one of the ones. This is just showing off, but I don't recommend doing them right away unless you're higher level.
You literally can't. Like, this tutorial literally explains to you that there's such a thing as enemies that are stronger than you.
Yeah, like, just be wary when you see these things.
When Hal tried to use Libra on it, it didn't even say what its HP value was.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Oh, also, when your party when a specific person dies, their entire stack is also set out. So now you have 2 extra targets to either become, well, obviously targets for the enemy, or how the hell did you miss that?
I don't know.
Because this is an unwinnable fight, and the best thing is just to speed it up.
Yeah, it's the fact of how the hell did he miss you? Like, he missed you with an attack. That's great. That should have won you the fight right there. But no, you had to miss.
Yeah. Now this is funny.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. You don't get punished for game overs in this game. You don't really get punished. You just get, like, a nice slap on the wrist. Now you gotta walk back.
Right, but I think, like, but we do recommend you do a lot of saving.
I mean, it's just more of, like, it's just save often. It's not really, like, the only time you really need to make backup saves is when you're trying to catch a rare prism and things like that.
Yeah.
I believe later on you get a mechanic that lets you retry fights too, or I might be thinking of a completely different game.
No, I'm not going to say what's going on in the ending part of it because that was a trip and a half.
I wasn't really referring to the ending. I'm just talking about, like, a mechanic that you can just do the things.
Isn't that sort of kind of the Colosseum?
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. And I think there's some rare ones in the Colosseum. I'm not sure.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't. There's not much of a punishment for dying or for having a game over. Dying is a huge punishment mid combat, but outside of combat, if you have a game over, you get a slap on the wrist and you have to walk back all the way. That's another thing too. All encounters are completely random. No overworld sprites or anything. All random encounters are just like you don't. There's no interaction with anything. They just happen. Chocobogalina!
Yeah, this is the first one that shows up.
From Final Fantasy from Lightning Returns Final Fantasy.
It's in this the
And
she
we'll
is.
meet,
What, Hal?
Go ahead.
we'll meet her next episode.
Yeah, she is
Yeah.
she is like in Lightning Returns. She's a character. She's a very interesting character.
She is in this universe.
Oh, hey, Hal. Do
Yeah?
save points heal you? I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Oh wait, do they not show you saving? Oh,
Ah, there we go.
thank you for the 8-bit take on me.
Yep. I put it that bit here so that we can talk at the end, so that I can do less editing when I add voices later.
Gotcha.
Smart. Yeah, the one thing with this game, it is a very fun game. I always recommend it. It's just be prepared at the end part. And this is just someone who had finished it. I think it took me 2 years to finish it, only because I had a lot of games to play, and then I had more time to play when my PC was getting fixed.
Well, don't worry.
So-
There's now a bonus. There's a bonus ending too.
Oh,
That I don't know how to get.
not punched me as it was, dang it.
I actually don't know what the extra ending is because I have actually yet to play the Maxima upgrade.
I'm sure we'll see it eventually.
You also get a
Oh, yeah,
Noctis medal
that's-
too.
This video is not sponsored by Old Hell Pro Wrestling, the e-fed that I'm a part of.
The what?
That is part of the LP zone. It's like we do simulated wrestling matches on Fire Pro Wrestling. It is our Angus McMutton rules. Okay, so what were you saying?
I'm not sure, but yeah, basically it's a fun game. It's a long. Just be prepared for a very long game, like a 30 plus hours long, maybe more now.
I'd say it felt like 40 to 50 to me.
It honestly though, this is just a very fan loving game. Like it's all
Yeah.
all fan references and nice.
If you love Final Fantasy, this is the perfect game for you.
And I think that draws this part to a close. So we'll see you next time.
Yep.
See y'all next time.
See y'all next time.